Hello everyone, I am Srinivas Zawar from Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, CSMSS Chhatrapati Shahu College of Engineering, Aurangabad. In the course of digital signal processing, here we are going to introduce discrete Fourier transformation in this session. At the end of the session, learner will able to understand the concept of Fourier transformation in signal processing as well as digital signal processing. Also, recognize the difference in between discrete time Fourier transformation and discrete Fourier transformation. Understand the concept of frequency domain sampling, need of Twiddle factor, and mathematical analysis of discrete Fourier transformation. We will start with introduction of Fourier series and transformation. Basically, Fourier series and Fourier transformation is invented by Joseph Fourier. While finding the solution of heat equation, he discovered that the non-sinusoidal periodic function can be expressed as finite sum of sinusoidal functions. So we can define Fourier series as any periodic function can be expressed as sum of finite series of sine and cosine terms. Whereas for non-periodic signal, the work is extended and termed as Fourier transformation. Basically, Fourier series and Fourier transformation are used for converting time domain signal into frequency domain, because the time domain analysis is not sufficient in a system analysis and designing, so that we want to convert time domain signal into frequency domain. Here, as we know, there are two types of time domain signal: continuous time and discrete time. If we focus on continuous time signal, then if we take the Fourier series of continuous time signal, it is termed as continuous time Fourier series. Or if we take Fourier transform for continuous time signal, then it is continuous time Fourier transformation. Whereas if we take Fourier series for discrete time, then it can be termed as discrete time Fourier series, and for Fourier transformation, discrete time Fourier transformation. Here in digital signal processing, we are interested to analyze discrete time signal. So we are focusing here discrete time Fourier series and discrete time Fourier transformation. What is discrete time Fourier series? A periodic discrete time signal with fundamental period n can be decomposed into n harmonically related frequency components, and summation of these frequency components is called as Fourier series of discrete time signal, which is represented by DTFS. Whereas discrete time Fourier transformation is defined by the mathematical tool used to transform time domain representation of a signal into frequency domain by letting the fundamental period n to infinity. It is called as discrete time Fourier transformation. It can be applied both for periodic as well as non-periodic signal. As we know, Fourier series is applicable only for periodic signal. As we convert time domain signal into frequency domain with the help of Fourier series and Fourier transformation for both periodic as well as non-periodic signal, the obtained frequency domain signal is represented in terms of complex valued function. Therefore, it can be represented by its magnitude and phase. The magnitude spectrum is the graphical plot of magnitude as a function of frequency component present in signal. This graph is plotted as we represent frequency on x-axis and magnitude on y-axis. As the representation in time domain, how we represent it? In time domain, x-axis represent time and y-axis is amplitude. Since at x-axis time is present, such a signal are called as time domain signal. Whereas here on x-axis frequency is represented. So we want to measure the frequency components here along with signal. Therefore the magnitude which is obtained in the signal along with frequency, it is called as magnitude spectrum. The same concept as we plot the value of frequency, value of phase with respect to frequency, the graph is called as phase spectrum. Now next is discrete time Fourier transformation. Here we want to take Fourier transformation of input signal x of n. Let we consider here discrete time signal x of n, and we want to apply Fourier transform on it. So Fourier transform on discrete time signal is represented by Fourier time discrete transformation on input signal x of n, which is represented by x of e raised to j omega. Sometimes it can be represented by x of omega, where this omega be the angular frequency. The angular frequency is measured in radian or radian per second. Now how we obtain this frequency domain signal, or how we want to find the frequency component of the signal. So we define the frequency domain signal as x of e raised to j omega is the representation of Fourier transformation of x of n given by summation n is for minus infinity to plus infinity x of n e raised to minus j omega n. We can read this, the frequency domain signal x of e raised to j omega, since omega is represented, it is a frequency domain signal. Here we want to represent the this x or the alphabet is in capital form in frequency domain signal. We can represent the small x and small n in time domain signal. Fourier series operator and Fourier transformation operator is f. We can say Fourier transform of x of n is to be represented with that function, and it is given by summation of whatever the input signal represented here, it is the x of n, consider as it is, and it is multiplied by exponential term e raised to minus j omega n, where the range of n is from minus infinity to plus infinity. The range of n is decided whether we consider left-handed sequence or we consider right-handed sequence or both the handed sequence. It can be suitable for infinite series, infinite numbers of samples in input signal x of n. Now here one of the condition for existence of Fourier transformation, since at the definition shows the summation of different components of x of n, that is as we want to take summation, the term of x of n, it should be summable form. So we can say for the condition of summation of x of n should be less than infinity for n is minus infinity to plus infinity. This is the condition for existence of discrete time Fourier transformation. Now next is frequency domain sampling. Before studying discrete Fourier transformation, we want to understand the concept of frequency domain sampling in it, because as the definition of discrete time Fourier transformation is given by summation n is for minus infinity to plus infinity x of n e raised to minus j omega n, where we can say the value of omega be the angular frequency, and as we know it is the representation of sine and cosine term. The value of omega is lies in between 0 to 2 pi, or sometimes it lies in between minus pi to plus pi. Now if we observe the definition here, the range of n is defined minus infinity to plus infinity to convert x of n into x of e raised to j omega. Okay, so this range of n is from minus infinity to plus infinity, it is not possible to compute x of omega with digital processors or digital systems. Now, how we perform this? So, it can be performed by making the range of n is finite. Range of n is finite. How we perform this range of n is finite? By extracting particular portion from infinite sequence. Extraction of particular portion. By extracting some particular portion from infinite sequence, then we obtain the range of n is finite, and which is possible to compute with digital processors or digital computers. One more thing, when we consider discrete time Fourier transformation, the input signal x of n is transformed into x of e raised to j omega. Here, if we observe the nature of this time domain signal is in discrete form, and after conversion the nature of this frequency domain signal is in continuous form. So, one more thing, we want to convert this continuous time signal into discrete form, which is represented by x of k. This process will be applied or obtained by performing sampling on it. Sampling on the frequency domain signal. So, whenever we convert time domain signal into frequency domain in a discrete manner, we require frequency domain sampling. I elaborate the term of frequency domain sampling here. Let we consider input signal x of n having some numbers of samples are represented. I just consider any values of samples 0, 1, 2, 3 etc. and different values are present. It is the representation of x of n, okay, time domain signal. When we apply Fourier transformation on it, as we apply Fourier transformation on discrete time signal, it is termed as discrete time Fourier transformation. The signal is converted into frequency domain signal, which is in terms of omega, represented by x of omega, and the obtained signal may be in this manner because it is in analog form. As we perform operation of sampling to convert this analog signal or continuous time signal into digital or discrete form. Sampling is the process of converting analog signal into digital, continuous signal into discrete form. Okay, so as we transform continuous signal into discrete form by using sampling, we observe the signals are collected or selected by particular value of frequency. By selecting the particular value of frequency, let 0, 1, 2, 3, these values of frequencies are denoted by discrete values only, and at that discrete values of frequency we can observe the value of x of omega or magnitude, and therefore we can obtain here discrete time signal in frequency domain. Okay, so discrete time signal is converted into discrete frequency signal. Okay, discrete time signal is converted into discrete frequency signal. Now next is discrete Fourier transformation, termed as DFT. As we convert discrete time signal into frequency domain signal by applying discrete time Fourier transform on it. The obtained signal is in a continuous form, and by performing sampling on it, we obtain or we select discrete values only and obtain discrete Fourier transformation. It can be defined as the finite duration discrete frequency sequence, which is obtained by sampling the discrete time Fourier transform of signal at n uniform frequency intervals and numbers of samples. It's called as discrete Fourier transformation. As we apply discrete Fourier transform on any input signal in a time domain, let it be x of n. If we apply DFT on x of n, we obtain frequency domain signal in a discrete manner is represented by x of k and given by summation n is from 0 to n minus 1 x of n e raised to minus j 2 pi kn divided by n. You can observe here x of k is the frequency domain signal in a discrete manner, x of n with the time domain signal in a discrete manner, where we can say independent variables as n and k, as the range of n is 0 to n minus 1. This n with the numbers of samples in output sequence. Okay, and with that range of n, we generally consider k is also 0 to n minus 1. The value of n is the numbers of samples in x of k. If we want to find the 8-point DFT or 16-point DFT, according to that, the numbers of samples are included in x of k is to be defined by the numbers of defined by capital N. Now next is twiddle factor. As we define DFT of x of n represented by x of k and given by summation n is for 0 to n minus 1 x of n e raised to minus j 2 pi kn divided by n. The calculations are reduced by using this twiddle factor. Twiddle factor is the representation of this exponential term. It can be represented by twiddle factor is represented by wkn to the base n is given by e raised to minus j 2 pi kn divided by n. As we define here the product of k and n, and here the base is capital N. So we can represent by converting the value of or replacing value of this exponential term with the twiddle factor and define the DFT as DFT of x of n is equal to x of k, and it is given by summation n is for 0 to n minus 1 x of n into twiddle factor wkn to the base n. Sometimes by using this twiddle factor, calculation or computational time is to be minimized. One more, as we transform time domain signal into frequency domain, this process is called as Fourier transformation. As we obtain frequency domain signal, this frequency domain signal can be again converted into time domain, and this process is called as inverse Fourier transformation. Now if we apply discrete time Fourier transform on input signal x of n, which is given by x of k, if we apply inverse discrete Fourier transformation on x of k, then we will get input signal x of n as it is. So we can represent here x of n. If we consider dft, it will be represented by x of k, and again if we apply idft, we can get x of n. So we can say x of n and x of k forms DFT pair. X of n and x of k forms DFT pair. Now how we can define this IDFT? IDFT of x of k is represented by x of n and given by summation x of k. Since x of k is considered, k is for 0 to n minus 1 exponential term e raised to plus j 2 pi k n divided by n, and the term is divided by capital N. Or we can say in terms of a twiddle factor, IDFT of x of n is represented by, IDFT of x of k is represented by x of n and given by 1 by n summation k is for 0 to n minus 1 x of k w k n to the base n its complex conjugate, with its complex conjugate, or we can say it is the representation of w minus kn, but for sake of simplicity you just consider it is the complex conjugate of previous twiddle factor. Now one more important thing is that when we apply twiddle factor, the how calculations are minimized. So to understand this, how calculations are minimized, we are going to solve one numerical to convert time domain signal into frequency domain with the help of basic definition and then with the help of twiddle factor. Okay, let us consider an example. As we have given input signal x of n as 1 0 0 1. Here arrow is not represented, we can say arrow is at first position. So we can define this function as the range of n is given by 0 1 2 3 0 to 3, and x of 0, x of 1, x of 2 and x of 3 can be defined by given signal representation. X of 0, x of n at n is equal to 0 is 1, x of 1 at n is equal to 1, x of 1 is 0, similarly x of 2 is 0 and x of 3 is 1. Now we want to obtain discrete Fourier transformation DFT. So DFT of x of n can be given by x of k summation n is for 0 to n minus 1 x of n e raised to minus j 2 pi k n divided by n. With that definition, we need the function of x of k is obtained with the different values of n and different values of k. So by observing given input signal x of n, I modify this as n is equal to 0 to how many numbers of samples are represented here. Here we can consider value of n is for 0 to 3. Here n is 0 to 3. As n is 0 to 3 and we have to find k point n point DFT, therefore we want to consider k is also 0 to 3. Here the case is different, as we have given or we want to identify 4-point DFT or 8-point DFT or 16-point DFT. Then we consider these are the values of capital N.
we can say it is n point DFT. So n point DFT, if we want to identify n point DFT, we consider n is lies in between 0 to n minus 1. If only we want to ask find DFT, it means you just find 4-point DFT. So for obtaining 4-point DFT, I consider capital N is equal to 4. As capital N is equal to 4, I can modify this definition as x of k is equal to summation n is for 0 to n is equal to 4, 4 minus 1 is 3, x of n e raised to minus j 2 pi k n divided by capital N is equal to 4. Now we can write this equation as x of k is equal to summation n is equal to 0 to 3 x of n e raised to minus j 2 pi k n divided by 4. 2 and 1 2 gets cancelled, so it can be written as n is equal to 0 to 3 x of n e raised to minus j pi by 4 k n. Now we want to consider different computations. Let it be equation number 1, as k varies from 0 to 3 n minus 1, that is 3. We want to consider all the values of k one by one. For first computational value, we consider k is equal to 0. What happened? From equation 1, we can say that x of 0 is equal to summation n is for 0 to 3 x of n e raised to minus j 2 pi e raised to minus j pi by 4 k into n. What is k? K is 0. So 0 into anything is 0. We can write summation n is for 0 to 3 x of n e raised to 0. Further, it is illustrated as x of 0 is equal to summation n is equal to 0 to 3 x of n. E raised to 0 is 1. Put n is equal to 0 to 3. First n is equal to 0, x of 0. Summation indicate addition, n is equal to 1. Then n is equal to 2. Then n is equal to 3. Now put all the values. X of 0 is equal to 1. X of 1 is equal to 0, x of 2 is equal to 0, x of 3 is equal to 1. The answer is 2. We obtain first computational value x of 0 is equal to 2. Similarly, now we want to go for next value of k. As k lies in between 0 to 3, I consider initially 0. Now focus on 1. Now put k is equal to 1 in equation 1. Therefore we can say x of k at k is equal to 1 is x of 1 summation n is for 0 to 3 x of n e raised to minus j pi by 2 k is 1 n is equal to we want to put the values of n directly, or just go with one more step, as n is equal to 0 x of n e raised to minus j pi by 2 n. Now we want to consider n is equal to 0 to 3 x of 0 e raised to minus j pi by 2 0. Put initially n is equal to 0, then n is equal to 1 x of 1 e raised to minus j pi by 2 1, then n is equal to 2 e raised to minus j pi by 2 2 plus x of 3 e raised to minus j pi by 2 into 3. Now find out the values. X of 0 we consider it as a 1 into e raised to 0. So e raised to 0 is 1. X of 1 is 0 and 0 into anything is 0. X of 2 is also 0. 0 into anything is 0. X of 3 is 1, and we can find this exponential term by converting it into trigonometric form. So I can write e raised to minus j 3 pi by 2 as cos 3 pi by 2 minus j sin 3 pi by 2 is equal to 1 plus 0 plus cos 3 pi by 2 minus j sin 3 pi by 2. What is the value of cos 3 pi by 2? We can find this by remembering a graphical form as for sinusoidal function sin 0 is equal to c0, sin pi by 2 is 1, sin pi is equal to 0, sin 3 pi by 2 is minus 1, and sin 2 pi is again 0. Similarly, for cosine function, cos 0 is 1, cos 3 pi by 2 is 0, cos pi is minus 1, cos 3 pi by 2 is 0, and it is cos 2 pi is again 1. This is for cosine and sine. So we can just remember that graphical representation for avoiding some calculators and etc. So cos 3 pi by 2, cos 3 pi by 2 is 0 and sin 3 pi by 2 is minus 1. So it can be written as 1 0 0 plus cos 3 pi by 2 is again 0 minus j sin 3 pi by 2, sin 3 pi by 2 is minus 1. So it is equal to 1 minus minus gets plus 1 plus j. So x of 1 is equal to 1 plus j is obtained as a second computational value. Same way, go for next computational value, k is equal to 2. Put k is equal to 2 in equation 1. Therefore x of 2 is equal to summation n is for 0 to 3 x of n e raised to minus j 2 pi k is equal to 2 and n divided by 4 can be written as summation n is equal to 0 to 3 x of n e raised to minus j 2 into 2 4 gets cancelled pi n. Now put values of n is equal to 0 to 3 x of 0 e raised to minus j pi 0 plus x of 1 e raised to minus j pi 1 plus x of 2 e raised to minus j pi 2 plus x of 3 e raised to minus j pi 3 is equal to, what is the value of x of 0? It is 1 and e raised to 0 is again 1 plus x of 1 is 0, x of 2 is 0, x of 3 is 1, e raised to minus j 3 pi. Again this exponential term is also identified by considering trigonometric function as 1 plus 0 plus cos 3 pi minus j sin 3 pi is equal to 1 plus 0 cos 3 pi is minus 1 and sin 3 pi is 0. So it can be 1 minus 1 is a 0. So x of 2 we obtain as a 0, which is the third computational value, and at last we want to put k is equal to 3. Put k is equal to 3 in equation 1. Therefore x of 3 is equal to summation n is for 0 to 3 x of n e raised to minus j 2 pi k is equal to 3 into n divided by 4 is equal to summation n is equal to 0 to 3 x of n e raised to minus j 3 pi by 2 n. Now put values of n is from 0 to 3 x of 0 e raised to minus j 3 pi by 2 into 0 plus x of 1 e raised to minus j 3 pi by 2 into 1 plus x of 2 e raised to minus j 3 pi by 2 into 2 x of 3 e raised to minus j 3 pi by 2 into 3 is equal to x of 0 is 1, e raised to 0 is 1, it is 0, it is 0. Next, x of 3 is 1, e raised to minus j 9 pi by 2. Now we want to find the value by using cos 9 pi by 2 minus j sin 9 pi by 2. Its value is given by 1 plus it is 0 and it is 1, so 1 minus j. We obtain here x of 3 is equal to 1 minus j. If we observe all the values of k is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, x of k can be written as first computational value is 2, then 1 plus j, then 0 and 1 minus j, which can be represented with k is equal to 0 as. Now for the same example of x of n is equal to 1, 0, 0, 1, we want to find the DFT with the help of, or we can say 4-point DFT with the help of twiddle factor. How we find the DFT with the help of twiddle factor? As we know, x of k is defined as summation n is for 0 to n minus 1 x of n into wkn to the base n. Now we want to initially find out the value of wkn to the base n. If we go for various values of k and n, what are the possibilities to represent value of k and n? We just identify the possibilities and rearrange these possibilities with the help of cyclic property of twiddle factor. As suppose we want to find 4-point DFT. So I consider capital N is equal to 4. If capital N is 4, divide this circle in 4 equal parts. Then consider the values as all the multiplication factor of k and n is considered directly as initially w0 to the base 4, then w1 to the base 4, w2 to the base 4, w3 to the base 4, because both k and n are the discrete valued function. So the discrete value is to be obtained as a product of k and n. So for the case of n is equal to 4, we got 4 twiddle factor values, w04, w14, w2, w34. If further again more twiddle factors are to be required, so we can continue it by w44, w54, w64, w74, w84, w94, etc. in this way. Okay. Now one more property is to be observed here in cyclic property of twiddle factor, as if we identify value of w04, it is not necessary to find w24. Its value is given by minus w04. Its value is represented by minus w04, whereas when we identify value of w14, no need to find w34, w74, etc. It can be written as minus w14. So the computations are minimized, as you can focus on first stage as w0, w1, 2, 3 is to be considered only 4 twiddle factor. For numbers of twiddle factors are to be obtained, like w0, 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6, 7, then 8, 9, 10, 11, then 12, 13, 14, 15, etc. numbers of twiddle factors are obtained by just calculating 4 twiddle factors. Now again apply the cyclic property, then the 4 twiddle factors calculations are again minimized into 2 twiddle factors, W04 and W14. So by natural we want to find only 2 twiddle factors to solve any 4-point DFT. To solve any 4-point DFT we required 2 twiddle factors as W0 to the base 4 and W1 to the base 4. So we want to find these values of twiddle factor as W0 to the base 4 and W1 to the base 4 is equal to, what is the general representation of Wkn to the base n, e raised to minus j 2 pi kn divided by n. Compare it with W0 to the base 4 e raised to minus j 2 pi k into n is equal to 0 divided by n, capital N is 4. It can be written as e raised to 0, 0 into anything is 0, therefore e raised to 0 and its value is 1. Second value e raised to minus j 2 pi k into n is equal to 1 divided by 4. So the function is represented by e raised to minus j pi by 2, e raised to minus j pi by 2. Now we want to find the value of e raised to minus j pi by 2 by considering this function into trigonometric form. Okay, as we can write it is cos pi by 2 minus j sin pi by 2. What is the value of cos pi by 2? I can repeat it once again. For sine and for cosine, you want to remember sine 0 is 0, sine pi by 2 is 1, 0 minus 1. It is 1 minus 1, 0, 0. So according to that you can remember cos pi by 2. Cos pi by 2 is 0 minus j sin pi by 2 is 1. Therefore W1 to the base 4 is equal to minus j. We can say W0 to the base 4 is 1 and W1 to the base 4 is minus j. We have obtained here 2 twiddle factors value. Now go through the definition with the twiddle factor as x of k is equal to summation n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n wkn to the base n. Now as n is considered 0 to 3 and we want to find k n point DFT, k is also considered for the same range 0 to 3 here. Okay, both n and k are lies in between 0 to 3. So first computational value is obtained by considering k is equal to 0. Therefore let it be equation number I say it is 2. Put this in equation number 2. Therefore x of 0 is equal to summation n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n w k is equal to 0 n to the base n. So I can write it n is equal to 0 to 3 x of n w0 to the base 4, w0 to the base 4. Now what is the value of w0 to the base 4? It is 1. Therefore x of 0 is equal to summation n is equal to 0 to 3 x of n w0 to the base 4 is 1. So we can write n is equal to 0 to 3 x of n is equal to x of 0 plus x of 1 plus x of 2 plus x of 3. Put values of n from 0 to 3 and this summation indicate addition. 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1, that is 2. First computational value is obtained 2 as a previous example. Okay, now go for next k is equal to 1. put k is equal to 1 in equation 2 as x of 2 is equal to summation n is for 0 to 3 x of n w k is equal to 1 n to the base 4. Put n is equal to 0 to 3, therefore it can be written as x of n is equal to 0, x of 0 w 0 to the base 4. Then n is equal to 1, x of 1 w 1 to the base 4. N is equal to 2, x of 2 w 2 to the base 4. N is equal to 3, x of 3 w 3 to the base 4. Now go through the values of Twiddle factors in a cyclic property. W0 to the base 4, W1 to the base 4, W2 to the base 4, W3 to the base 4. Okay, this value is obtained. We can find this value. It is as a 1 and it is as a plus j. Is it? Sorry, it is a minus j. Now it is minus 1 and it is plus j. Therefore x of 0 is 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1 into w3 to the base 4 is plus j. So it can be written as x 1 plus j. X of 2 is obtained as 1 plus j. Similarly, put k is equal to 2 in the equation 2. Therefore x of k is equal to 2, x of 2 is equal to summation n is equal to 0 to 3 x of n w 2 into n to the base 4. It can be written as summation n is equal to 0 to 3 x of n w 2n to the base 4, or we can say it can be cancelled this 2 by this 2, then n to the base 2 also. But for the sake of simplicity, we have identified initially all the Twiddle factors with base 4. So go as it is. So we can put the values of n is equal to 0 to 3, x of 0 w 0 to the base 4, x of 1 w n is equal to 1, 2 into 1 is 2 to the base 4, x of 2 w 2 into 2 is 4 to the base 4, then x of 3 w 3 into 2 6 to the base 4. As we put the value 1 plus this is 0, this is also 0, and x of 3 is 1, and what is the value of w6 to the base 4? w0 1 2 3 4 5 6, w6 to the base 4 is minus 1. You can observe here it is no need to identify the value of this exponential term into trigonometric form and etc. We just identify here w6 to the base 4 by using cyclic property of Twiddle factor. It is minus 1. Then it can be illustrated as 1 minus 1 is 0. Therefore x of 2 is equal to 0. This is x of 1. X of 2 is equal to 0. Similarly, find out x of 3. Put k is equal to 3 in this equation number 2. Therefore x of k is equal to, at k is equal to 3, we can write x of 3 is equal to summation n is equal to 0 to 3 x of n w k is equal to 3 n to the base 4. Put the value of n is equal to 0 to 3 as x of 0 w 0 to the base 4, x of 1 w 3 to the base 4, x of 2 w6 to the base 4, and x of 3 w9 to the base 4. Okay, then put the values of Twiddle factor again, represent it in a cyclic property as w04 w14 w24 w34 w44 w54 W64, W74, W84, W94. Okay, we required is up to W94. Its value is 1, its value is minus j, it is minus 1, it is plus j. So put the values. X of 0 is 1 plus this 0 plus 0, then x of 3 is 1, W9 to the base 4 is minus j, therefore it is equal to 1 minus j. X of 3 is obtained as 1 minus j. Therefore, by observing all the values of computations, x of k is written as 1 plus j, 0, 1 minus j. If you compare both the methods, here by using Twiddle factor, some of the computations are to be minimized. So, with that lecture or with that session, you can observe the definition of Fourier series, Fourier transformation in both continuous and discrete manner, how we can differ the discrete time Fourier transform and discrete Fourier transform, the relationship in between omega and frequency component k, as we can mention it is omega is equal to 2 pi k divided by n in definition of a Twiddle factor, and also we can apply this definition of a DFT by computing different values of frequency component, frequency values, and which are also obtained by numbers of samples included in it. The numbers of samples in output signal x of k will be obtained by capital N. Okay, it is about the discrete Fourier transformation. Now in the next lecture we can continue it for inversion, how to identify inverse discrete Fourier transformation.
Now the same DFT can be calculated by considering a linear transformation. So we consider DFT as a linear transformation in which we can represent the input sequence in a matrix form as, let it x of n can be represented by xn, or we consider it is as x of n is equal to we represent all the values of elements or the samples in x of n with the column of matrix like x of 0, x of 1, x of 2, etc. Similarly, the output signal or the frequency domain signal, which is represented by x of k, is given by same x of 0, x of 1, x of 2 up to n minus 1. So we can identify the value of x of k with the help of x of n by considering the definition of DFT in a linear transformation form, as we know the definition of a DFT as DFT is represented by x of k is equal to DFT of x of n, and it is given by summation n is for 0 to n minus 1 x of n e raised to minus j 2 pi k n divided by n. Or we can consider it with the Twiddle factor as n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n w k n to the base n. And in linear transformation form we can represent it by xk or x of k is equal to Twiddle factor w k n to the base n into the input signal xn, which is represented in matrix form. Vice versa, for getting inverse DFT we can represent xn is equal to 1 by n wkn to the base n, its complex conjugate xk. Okay, so we just go through one of the example for getting this concept of linear transformation here. Suppose we want to calculate a 4-point DFT of x of n, which is given by 1 1 0 0. Okay, here generally it can be represented with a linear transformation as x of k or xk can be represented as wkn to the base n into xn. Okay, now we want to just consider the elements from x of k and x of n according to the numbers of samples given in x of n and numbers of point DFT is to be calculated. Here we want to find a 4-point DFT, so we consider n is equal to 4, and as n is equal to 4, the range of n is 0 to n minus 1, that is 0 to n minus 1, 4 minus 1 is 0 to 3. It means it is n is equal to 0, 1, 2 and 3. The same value is considered for k. K is also 0, 1, 2, 3. So we can represent this definition in matrix form as xk can be represented by x of 0, x of 1, x of 2, x of 3 is equal to represent the twiddle factor here, w0 to the base 4. We want to represent it for base is equal to n and n is equal to 4. We initially consider the product of k and n. As we know, the representation is for considering values of n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. Also k is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. Then we can represent the function or the twiddle factor as 0 into 0 is 0 to the base 4, 0 into 1 w0 to the base 4, w0 to the base 4, w0 to the base 4, 1 into 0 0, w0 to the base 4, 1 into 1 is 1, w1 to the base 4, w2 to the base 4, 1 into 3 w3 to the base 4, 2 into 0 w0 to the base 4, 2 into 1 w2 to the base 4, w4 to the base 4, w6 to the base 4, 3 into 0 is a 0, 3 to the base 4, w6 to the base 4, w9 to the base 4. So we got here numbers of twiddle factors as w04 to w94. Minimum is a w0 and maximum is w94. The input sequence is denoted by x of 0, x of 1, x of 2 and x of 3. As the range of n is from 0, 1 to 3, we consider 0, 1 to 3. K is also 0 to 3, 0, 1 to 3. Okay, now we want to find the values of these twiddle factors. Okay, here we want to calculate the values of twiddle factors for numbers of points n is equal to 4. So we equate this circle into 4 parts as consider w0 to the base 4, w1 to the base 4, w2 to the base 4, w3 to the base 4. If we want to continue it, w4 to the base 4, w5 to the base 4, w6 to the base 4, w7 to the base 4, w8 to the base 4, w9 to the base 4. And as we calculate the values can be represented by w0 to the base 4 is e raised to 0, we represent it is as a 1. Then w1 to the base 4, it is considered as a minus j. It is calculated with putting this twiddle factor into exponential term, as we obtain these values of twiddle factors in last example. Here also we can consider the minus w04 is equal to w24 and w64, so its value is represented by minus 1 and it is plus j. Also we can represent the values of x of 0, x of 1, x of 2, x of 3 by given example of x of n. At n is equal to, if arrow is not represented, we want to consider arrow is at first position. This is the position at which n is equal to 0. Then n is equal to 1, 2, 3 towards right hand side. If left hand side is there, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, etc. So here we can observe that x of 0, x of n at n is equal to 0 is 1. So x of 0 is 1, x of 1 again same, x of n at n is equal to 1 is 1, and x of 2 and 3 are 0. Okay, now we want to just consider according to that representation of matrix, x of 0 to x of 3 is to be obtained by taking multiplication of these two matrices. So we can write here the output signal x of k can be represented as x of 0, x of 1, x of 2, x of 3 is equal to, put the values of Quidel factors w0, w1, w2, w3 up to w9 to the base 4, then we get this matrix as 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 minus j, minus 1 plus j, then 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1, then 1 minus j, minus 1 minus j. Okay, here plus j. Now it is multiplied by 1 1 0 0. Perform the multiplication of matrix. Here the first matrix is of 4 rows and 4 columns, so we consider the dimension of first matrix is 4 by 4. Here 4 rows and 1 column, 4 by 1. If we write 4 by 4 and 4 by 1, the numbers of columns of first matrix and numbers of rows of second matrix are equal, then we can make multiplication of these two matrices and the output is represented by 4 by 1 matrix. So as we have represented here, output is of 4 by 1, it can be obtained and it is represented by the output sequence x of k. If we perform multiplication, first row into first column, 1 into 1 1 plus 1 into 1 1 plus 1 into 0 0 plus 1 into 0 0. Then second row into column, 1 into 1 1, 1 into minus j is minus j, then plus 0 plus 0. Then third row into column, 1 minus 1 1 minus 1, and last row into column, 1 into 1, then it is 0 0, then minus j plus j into 1 is plus j 0 0. Then if we just solve this, we can obtain 1 plus 1 as a 2, 1 minus j, 1 minus 1 is 0, and 1 plus j as the sequence x of 0, x of 1, x of 2, x of 3. In this way we can get output sequence directly as 2, 1 minus j, 0, 1 plus j. Okay, this DFT is calculated by considering linear transformation of DFT. Thank you for listening patiently. If you have any doubt in that, you can just contact me on this email ID srzanwar.csmss@gmail.com.